Preparing for a data analyst at Bank of America interview? You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 15 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer, followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. How would you write a SQL query to find customers who made transactions in the last 30 days, but had no transactions in the previous 30 days? I would separate the two periods first, recent 30 days and prior 30 days. Then I would select distinct customer IDs from the recent window and exclude anyone appearing in the prior window using not exists or a left join with null filtering. I would validate row counts, check boundary dates, and sample customers manually. In banking data, I would also confirm transaction status, reversals, and duplicate postings before calling them newly active customers. While answering, focus on date filtering, customer-level aggregation, left join or not exists logic, transaction tables, edge cases around time windows, and how you would validate the result. Question 2. An inner join returns only records that match in both tables, such as customers who have valid accounts. A left join keeps every customer and adds account details where available, so customers without accounts show nulls. A full outer join keeps unmatched rows from both sides, useful for reconciliation between source systems. In Bank of America reporting, I would be careful with left joins because nulls can mean missing data, inactive products, or a real business condition. Make sure to cover matching versus non-matching records, why left join is common in reporting, how nulls appear, and examples using customers, accounts, and transactions. Question 3. How do you handle missing, duplicate, or inconsistent data in a financial dataset? I start by profiling the dataset: null percentages, duplicate counts, invalid values, and distribution changes. Then I separate technical issues from valid business cases. For duplicates, I use business keys like account ID, transaction ID, timestamp, and posting status. For missing values, I avoid blind imputation unless the business rule supports it. In financial services, every cleaning step should be documented, reproducible, and reviewed because small data issues can affect reporting, compliance, and customer decisions. In your answer, talk about profiling, root cause analysis, business rules, deduplication keys, missing value treatment, auditability, documentation, and why financial data quality needs stricter controls. Question 4. What metrics would you include in a dashboard for Bank of America's digital banking performance? I would organize the dashboard around adoption, activity, reliability, and customer outcomes. Key metrics would include active digital users, login frequency, mobile deposit volume, bill pay usage, transfer completion rate, failed transaction rate, page or feature drop-off, and customer satisfaction. I would segment by channel, region, customer type, and device. For executives, I would show trends, targets, and exceptions first, then allow drill downs for analysts and product teams. Be sure to mention business goals, user adoption, transaction success, mobile and web engagement, error rates, conversion funnels, customer experience metrics, and executive-level clarity. Question 5. How would you detect unusual transaction behavior that may indicate fraud or account compromise? I would compare each transaction against the customer's normal behavior and peer patterns. Signals could include sudden transaction spikes, unusual merchant categories, abnormal locations, new devices, rapid withdrawals, or many failed login attempts before activity. I would start with rule-based thresholds and statistical outlier checks, then test more advanced models if needed. The key is balancing detection with false positives, because blocking legitimate banking activity damages customer trust. While answering, cover baseline behavior, anomaly detection, velocity checks, location or device changes, thresholds, false positives, escalation workflows, and the importance of explainability in banking. Question 6. Describe how you would reconcile transaction counts between two banking systems that do not match. I would first confirm both systems use the same business definition, authorized transactions, posted transactions, reversals, or settlements. Then I would compare counts by date, product, channel, and status to isolate the mismatch. Common causes include time zone cutoffs, late files, duplicates, failed records, or mapping issues. I would produce an exception report with transaction IDs, amounts, timestamps, and source status, then work with engineering or operations to resolve the root cause. Make sure to cover source-to-target checks, time zone differences, posting versus authorization status, duplicate records, late arriving data, exception reporting, and communicating findings clearly. Question 7. What KPIs would you track for a credit card portfolio analysis? For a credit card portfolio, I would track new accounts, activation rate, monthly spend, average balance, utilization, payment rate, delinquency buckets, charge-off rate, interchange revenue, fees, and customer attrition. I would segment by risk tier, credit limit, geography, tenure, and product type. A strong analysis should connect growth with risk. Higher spend is positive only if repayment quality and profitability remain healthy. In your answer, include acquisition, activation, spend, utilization, delinquency, charge-offs, repayment behavior, customer segments, risk-adjusted profitability, and how KPIs support business decisions. Question 8. A SQL report used by business leaders is running slowly. How would you troubleshoot and optimize it? I would first understand whether the slowdown is data growth, query logic, or infrastructure. Then I would inspect the execution plan, check joins, filters, indexes, partitions, and expensive aggregations. I would remove unused columns, filter early, avoid functions on indexed fields, and pre-aggregate if the report repeats the same calculations. After tuning, I would compare results against the original query to ensure performance improved without changing business logic. Be sure to mention query plan review, indexes, filtering early, avoiding unnecessary columns, joins, aggregations, partitions, temporary tables, data volume, and maintaining accuracy after optimization. Question 9. How would you evaluate whether a new mobile banking feature improved customer engagement? I would start with a clear hypothesis, such as the feature increases repeat mobile logins or transfer completion. Ideally, I would use an A/B test with comparable treatment and control groups. Metrics could include adoption, frequency of use, session depth, completion rate, and downstream retention. I would check statistical significance and segment results by customer type. If no experiment exists, I would use before-after analysis carefully and control for seasonality, campaigns, and app releases. While answering, focus on hypothesis definition, treatment and control groups, engagement metrics, before-after bias, statistical significance, segmentation, confounding factors, and business interpretation. Question 10. How do you use Python or pandas in your data analysis workflow? I use Python mainly for repeatable analysis that goes beyond simple SQL reporting. With pandas, I load extracts, clean fields, handle dates, merge datasets, create aggregations, and run exploratory checks. I also use matplotlib or Seaborn for quick visuals and write reusable scripts for recurring work. For very large tables, I prefer pushing joins and filters into SQL first, then using Python for analysis, validation, modeling, or automation. Make sure to cover data loading, cleaning, transformation, joins, aggregation, exploratory analysis, visualization, automation, reproducibility, and when SQL may be better than Python. Question 11. How would you protect sensitive customer data while performing analysis? I would only request the data needed for the analysis and follow least privilege access. Customer identifiers should be masked, tokenized, or aggregated whenever possible. I would avoid exporting sensitive data to local machines, use approved secure environments, and never share files through informal channels. In banking, privacy and compliance are part of the analysis process. A good analyst protects PII while still producing useful insights for the business. In your answer, talk about least privilege, masking, tokenization, encryption, secure storage, PII handling, audit logs, regulatory awareness, and avoiding unnecessary data exposure. Question 12. Tell me about a time you had to explain a complex data finding to a non-technical stakeholder. In one project, I found that a sales decline was concentrated in one customer segment, not across the full business. Instead of presenting model details, I showed a simple trend chart by segment and tied it to a recent pricing change. I explained the confidence level, what the data did not prove, and recommended a targeted review. The stakeholder understood the issue quickly because I translated the analysis into impact, risk, and next steps. Be sure to use a STAR structure. Emphasize business context, simplify technical detail, show visual storytelling, discuss recommendations, and explain how you confirmed stakeholder understanding. Question 13. How would you analyze seasonality in ATM withdrawals, deposits, or card spending? I would plot the data over time at daily or weekly granularity and compare it with prior periods. Banking behavior often changes around weekends, holidays, payroll dates, tax season, and month-end bills. I would use rolling averages to smooth noise and year-over-year comparisons to handle seasonal patterns. Then I would segment by geography, channel, and customer type. The goal is to avoid treating predictable seasonal movement as a business problem. While answering, cover time series trends, weekday effects, holidays, pay cycles, outliers, rolling averages, year-over-year comparisons, segmentation, and separating seasonality from true performance changes. Question 14. Describe a time you worked under a tight deadline to deliver an analysis. How did you manage quality? Under tight deadlines, I first clarify the decision the analysis must support and agree on the minimum useful scope. I prioritize high-impact checks, automate where possible, and validate totals against trusted sources. If assumptions are necessary, I document them clearly instead of hiding uncertainty. I also communicate progress early so stakeholders are not surprised. Speed matters, but in financial analysis, I never sacrifice basic reconciliation and reasonableness checks. Make sure to structure the answer around prioritization, stakeholder alignment, scope control, validation checks, transparent assumptions, documentation, communication, and balancing speed with accuracy. Question 15. Mobile deposit usage dropped 12% last week. How would you investigate the cause? I would first confirm the drop is real by checking data freshness, pipeline failures, and metric definitions. Then I would break usage down by app version, device type, geography, customer segment, and funnel stage. Open feature, capture image, submit, and successful deposit. I would compare against prior weeks and known holidays. If the decline is isolated to one app version or error step, I would escalate to product or engineering with evidence and affected volume. In your answer, cover breaking down the metric by channel, device, geography, app version, customer segment, funnel step, outages, seasonality, data pipeline issues, and actionable recommendations. If you are still with us, congratulations. You are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.